What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Welcome to the Ambitious Vet Show. I'm your host, Chris Hoffman. I'm a Marine Corps veteran who got out as a junior enlisted guy in 2012, went through 5 jobs in 5 different industries in 5 years. Before I began to discover that the immediate transition education expires when you desire more than just your basic needs being met. This is why this show exists, to dive into the trenches with today's top subject matter experts, share inspiring transition stories, and provide masterclasses to equip you with the realistic perspective on what it takes to not only survive, but thrive in the trenches of everyday post-military life. Now today, we're going to have a special, how many specials? 10 specials. Special. Episode here, Ambitious Vet. This is first of its kind. Some of you may know that I just got accepted in the Veteran in Residence program, powered by Bunker Labs, sponsored by We Work USAA, Pilot Flying J, oil and gas company. And I got to say, this 23A cohort here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area is absolute powerhouses. And with that said, I wanted to make sure that I showcased just a few of these cohort members that had the courage enough to step up to the plate and apply to get featured on one of these special episodes, right? So we're gonna have 4 showcased interviews through the rest of this program here today. I'm talking about an entrepreneur that's in mental health, another that's in media, more specifically print media, as far as magazines. Also in job search, as far as consulting services around platforms such as LinkedIn Profile, Indeed, helping you write a cover letter and resumes, all the way to a CPA app to help you streamline those accounting and bookkeeping items to help you not have so much of a headache or a pain in the butt at the end of each year whenever you're preparing for tax season. So 4 different veteran entrepreneurs, incredible backgrounds, excited to just spotlight these 4 entrepreneurs. And again, they are here based in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they are a part of the same cohort I was accepted in, which is the 23 Veteran Residence Program powered by Bunker Labs. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the first interview, shall we? What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Chris Hoffman here. I am excited to dive into the next feature of Bunker Labs, Dallas-Fort Worth, Veteran in Residence. It's actually 23 Veteran in Residence program featuring one of the lucky cohort members here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And, this program, has been pretty valuable from a networking and just building a relationship standpoint. Having just out here in North Texas, sometimes you have a lot of multi-family generation businesses, but not a lot of people just trying to start their first business idea. So it's good to have a program like this to kind of just network with people like I'm about to introduce. But this program is supported by We Work, USAA, and Pilot Flying J, good oil and gas companies supporting entrepreneurs, which we love. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce this feature, Ambitious Vet. It's going to be Christine Walker. She's owner and editor-in-chief at Ease Veterans Magazine. A lot of ats there. She's also a U.S. Navy veteran. You may hear her voice. Her voice may be familiar from episode 167, sharing veteran stories never told to put veterans at ease with Christine Walker. Make sure you go backtrack and listen to that episode. It's a badass episode of her sharing her why, what, and how she's, bringing more valuable to a magazine that's sharing great stories untold from a lot of veterans that are forging courage in our lives post-military. So Christine, welcome to the Ambitious Vet Show again.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
Glad to reconnect.
Yeah, me too. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I served as a hospital corpsman in the Navy, but I was only stationed at Lejeune. So, my Marines have a near and dear place in my heart. So, and then after I got out of the military, I just kind of went on my little wanderlust for, 30 years. And then kind of everything came together with, publishing and the veteran community. And we just put it all together and mixed it up, and it turned into this amazing 100% written by vets for vets veteran magazine. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, no, it's great. And it's amazing magazine, Ambitious Vet. And yeah, Christine, I appreciate you giving us the silver bullet when we needed it. So, anyways, I want to kind of transition into transition story from the U.S. Navy for those that haven't listened to episode 167 yet. Kind of share more about your military transition story and what you learned from a personal development standpoint as far as yourself throughout that process.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've been out of the military for 31 years now. So
Wow.
it's been a hot minute. But when I was in, there were no transition services, guys. I mean, you literally went to, you got your last check, you got your per diem for your move, you got a kick in the ass and a have a nice life. That was it.
Yeah.
Like literally, there were no transition services. So when I got out, I had no idea what I was going to do, where I was going to go. I'm like, well, I'll just, I think my first job out of the military, I was a corpsman, but my first job out of the military, I think was at a Pizza Hut or something. Just, I had moved to San Diego with a boyfriend, and I'm like, well, I got to do something. So, and it was horrible. I could have done it in high school, but after the military, I'm like, never mind. So I had to find something that fit me.
Mm.
Um, and I did a lot of stuff. I went to floral design school, and I went to the Texas Peace Officer Academy in '96, and literally passed my T-close exam, and then decided, oh, I think I'm going to go to San Diego again, because I had moved back to Texas and moved back to San Diego, and I got a job as working corporate security. I was the security coordinator for a pharmaceutical company. So I did
Nice.
that for about 5 years. And just, the more I worked for the pharmaceutical company, the less I wanted to work for the pharmaceutical companies. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm done with this. And then I kind of transitioned into the nonprofit sector for, a decade or so. And then about 6 years ago, I started working for a small newspaper here in Texas, back here in Texas. And I fell in love with publishing. And that was about the same time that I got reacquainted with the veteran community, because, I pretended not to be a veteran for probably 25 years. I just, female vets, constantly having to justify my service. I just got done. So, but I reinvested myself in the veteran community, and it had changed a lot. And so I kind of merged those two things in 2020 during the pandemic, and here we are today. So
That's cool. No, I appreciate that. You went from big pharma to publishing. Sounds like a Texas thing to do. Screw big
right,
pharma, go do some publishing stuff.
right.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
Yeah.
Corman, Pizza Hut, or whatever the
Yeah.
name of it was, Peace Officer Academy, security coordinator with big pharma. Okay, yeah, publishing, sure, seems to fit. So
And
that
that's where
was,
you found your home. That's where you found a lot of
yeah,
passion, all that good stuff. And then you merged the veteran community with publishing in
yep,
2020. And this is the company that got accepted in the veteran in residence program.
yes, Addie's
Yeah.
Veterans Magazine.
Nice, nice. And you've kind of talked about, a little bit what it is, but why did you start it? And like kind of tell the ambitious vets, what do you need right now to support you in your growth?
Well, the reason I started it was one mission, and we are still on that mission 2.5 years later, is to tell your stories, to tell the stories that have forged us in the fire. And I have a lot of veteran business owners and veteran nonprofit directors who write for us as well. And, we share different things going on with the veteran community, and we'll tackle the subjects that nobody else will.
Nice.
We kind of have our moniker now that's kind of grown into, We're honest, often unfiltered, but always real. And so it's a place for vets to take their mask off and just be, and without judgment, without worrying about, anything. We've got military humor, which is a little dark sometimes. We've got, transition articles, we've got veteran stories, we've got nonprofit information. We're doing a really cool one this issue called For the Love of Veterans, which has a really phenomenal PTSD treatment that they're doing and providing for veterans. So that'll be in there. We get to tackle stories that possibly other veteran magazines won't. And so this issue, we have Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller. So the best way to support us is go to our website and subscribe to the print magazine, and become a part of the Addie's veteran tribe. So
I love it. And Lieutenant Colonel Scheller, Ambitious Vet, if you don't know who that is, he is the Marine. She was reminding me offline here that did, like, I don't know if it was a live or recorded video, but he was just
recorded.
Yeah, did a video kind of just exposing his honest thoughts around what was going on around political topics and all that good stuff. And, I would go on Google and kind of learn more about that story and kind of what he's doing now. But, big deal. Very outspoken man, definitely using his freedom of speech right, which is solid. And he's going to be on the front page of At Ease Veteran Magazine very soon. So I encourage you to go to At Ease Magazine's website. Go and check out this quality magazine. It's I think, Christine, you were saying it's over 30 pages or plus.
No, we are 80 pages.
80 pages.
It's 80 pages of just amazing stories, and we are 100% written by vets for vets. I think last issue we had 35 articles and like 20 different veteran writers. This issue we have like 42 articles and about 30 veteran writers.
Come on.
So we'll, and if you want to contribute, man, just reach out to me, because so far I have not said no to anybody. Now I may have to make you wait an issue or two, but I've never said no to a vet who wants to share their story.
Share their story. I love it. And then Ambitious Vet, on the other side, there is a subscription fee for just being able to acquire a quality veteran magazine that will help you get more vulnerable, open up, and grow in your everyday life of figuring out what it takes to unmask yourself so you can do that deeper healing, but also even just healing through humor. So make sure that you see value in subscribing for the magazine for at least a quarter or two, and you'd be surprised. It's a pretty quality magazine that you'll be probably subscribing for a long time as you look to bring more people even to potentially write for it. So, Christine, I'd just throw this back over to you. Any final saved rounds for an Ambitious vet before we say goodbye?
Just, what, we're here for the veteran community no matter what. So we've lasted 2.5 years, and we're looking forward to the next 2.5, so to serve the veteran community.
Come on. Love it. All right, Ambitious Vet, with that, we're going to sign off. All right, what's going on, Ambitious Vet? We got another 23 Veteran and Residence Program feature today. Excited for yet another one, another U.S. Navy veteran. So that's going to be good for that. This program, again, is sponsored by Bunker Lab. Actually put on by Bunker Lab, sponsored by WeWork, USAA, and Pilot Flying J. And I just want to go ahead and dive into the next feature. The next feature is Andrea Gabner. She's a Chief Executive Officer of Simply Tax Compliant, and she's doing a lot of good work. And she just got accepted to the cohort. I think you've actually been a part of the cohort in the past, but now you're like a team lead, right?
They do a team lead. Well, first, thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And they make you, if you've been through one of the cohorts, they make you like the team captain. You're supposed to be like role modeling how they do it, like filling out surveys and that type of thing. And of course, helping anyone out that you can.
You've been such a good example of that. You've been such a good example of that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yay, yay. So no, thanks for joining. Feel free to tell us more about your background before, this company and leading up to today.
Sure. So I own two businesses. Simply Tax Compliant is a part of the veteran, but I own a company called Accountable CFO. We are a full service accounting firm. And I love numbers. Like the way other people hate them, I like them, right? I'm the other side of it. And I think we everybody needs those numbers in order to make their business successful. So I want to make it accessible to them. And so I started out after the Navy, getting out, finishing up school, going to work for JP Morgan, but realized that it's just more fun to have that one-on-one, like being able to talk to Chris. It's just more fun. So that's what I do day to day. And that's how Simply Tax was born, so to speak, for the people I can't talk to or I don't have time to talk to.
Yeah, so you wanted to weed out of corporate politics and build relationships.
I love building relationships. I think anyone who's met me for more than 5 minutes knows that I like people.
Yeah. No, absolutely. From what I've taken away from you, you definitely do, and she's definitely a hugger, ambitious vest. So if you ever meet her in person, just give her a big hug. She likes that. But yeah, feel free to share your transition story a little bit more and kind of what you learned about yourself throughout that process. Because yeah, I mean, you carried a pretty nice title in JP Morgan Chase and all that good stuff. But what did you learn about yourself?
I think, you go into the Navy and there's this plan, right? You have a plan, you know exactly where you're going to go next, you know what you need to get there. And if you take off on a different road, someone will bring you back and kind of focus you again on where you're supposed to be. And when you get out of the military, there's all this choice, right? There's like all these choices, and you're like, you don't know where you fit in the world anymore. And at least that was my experience. I mean, I had an identity in the Navy and I felt like I had none. And I was fortunate enough that I have a great family that has HR, a human resources background. So my sister helped me kind of figure out what that plan was going to be. But I was just really use your resources, those veterans that are out there. If you're even thinking about wanting to become an accountant and you want to call me up, I will take that phone call. I would be more than happy to talk to you about what it takes and what you need to do and what that plan looks like for you. Because, like I said, it was just overwhelming. It really was,
Yeah.
to try and figure all that stuff out.
Yeah, same. And it sounds like you had a good fire team member with a human resources. It's like a cheat code in Call of Duty.
I'm going to tell her that. She is now a cheat code in Call of Duty. I did, because she had been in HR for such a long time that she knew all the things. Like, I always expected my manager to tell me what they wanted from me. And you get in the civilian world and they don't tell you. They expect you to know that. You're like,
Right.
is this good? Is this bad? I needed feedback. And so I had to turn it around and like tell them what I needed from them. And that was a weird experience. It was just really weird.
Yeah. We're not naturally wanting to do self-promotion. And nor do we want to communicate from there. It's weird. I've been out for 12 years. It's still awkward for me. My in-laws hate it, but you know what? They get served. So anyway, so the company Simply Tax Compliant. This is the company that you're working through a veteran in residence, correct?
Yes. So it's a software platform for smaller businesses that maybe do their own taxes, but don't realize all the other compliance that they may need in regard to sales tax and permits. So we built a software that goes from the federal level all the way down. I'm in the process of building it, and let me tell you, it's been tough. But I love doing it because it'll be available for businesses like Chris, who probably don't even know what they don't know. And let's face it, you didn't start your business to work for the IRS. So why are you spending time trying to figure out what I get paid to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, because all that red tape and all that stuff, it can be intimidating. And we're talking about fire teams at the very beginning. You're, cheat code, family member,
Mhm.
friend.
Yeah, yeah,
With human
exactly.
resources, it's kind of like a cheat code having a software,
It is. I call it a digital tax assistant, something to tell you it's going to send you reminders on which forms are due. And of course, you can take the ball, you'll have instructions on how to do it. And we're building out that content now.
So
And
there's
I
an
think it'll be
education
helpful.
component, like a tutorial type deal.
Yeah, and I think
Nice.
eventually we'll even do some tax planning classes and stuff. Maybe that's down the run. I have plans. It's sit in my head.
Yeah, it's solid. No, that's great stuff. That's great stuff. So what would you say your biggest need is right now? What are you trying to improve? So an ambitious vet's listening to this could be like, okay, I'm on it.
Okay, so we need beta testers. It'll be free for the first year for you to get on, add your business in, and we'll send you those reminders. All you have to do is jump on the waiting list at simplytaxcompliant.com.
Nice. Love it. Love it. So you're building a fire team so they can all have cheat codes for their new Call of Duty of life. I love
That's
it.
right. I am now going to have to go get my son, and we're going to have to play Call of Duty for the rest of the afternoon.
Oh my gosh, sounds like a great way to spend President's Day in my mind. Well, Andrea, is there any last save rounds that you would provide to an ambitious vet that's listening to this right now?
I would say, use your accountability team and build relationships with those people and if you are really thinking about bunker, and just go for it. Go fill it out right now. They want people. They want us to come in and build our own little world that's a bunch of veterans doing good.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And again, like I said in the previous feature, Ambitious Vet, this program, I think its secret ingredient is the secret handshake on the back end of being someone that's been through a Bunker Labs program, the ecosystem, the network that gets established for someone that's gone through some of these programs. And once you get tuned in, it's kind of like a secret handshake. It's not a cult yet. I don't think we'd label it a cult, but the Navy and I feel like the Marine Corps and Navy were kind of, but oh well.
Marine Corps has their own thing going on.
I know, right? It's our business. All right, Ambitious Vet. Well, we're out. What's going on, Ambitious Vet? We are diving into yet another 23A Veteran Residence Program featured interview powered by Bunker Labs, sponsored by WeWork, USAA, and Pilot Flying J. On this one, we have Jessica Erickson, an Army veteran turned marriage and family doctorate candidate, and just recently founded Hearts and Minds Counseling in 2019 and created a 12-week program that incorporates glassworking with a proven self-worth curriculum. Jessica, are you there?
I am. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. It was so good to just catch up with you offline here. Now I just feel like, man, I feel so good about myself. Your self-worth curriculum works. You just did it to me in like 10 minutes.
If only it was that easy.
Right?
I wish. It's funny, like how I picked glassworking as a whole was sometimes, we don't have the words for the things that we're thinking and feeling. And I can't go and ask a whole, but like I certainly couldn't be like, hey, Chris, you want to go and craft with me? See?
Right.
That was the response I felt like I would get. So I needed something that would be cool enough to kind of get everybody's attention, and kind of get you in there, but also keep you consistent. A weird byproduct was that when you're in the hot shop, it feels like being in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's like 3,000 degree glass. Plus guys like saying words like glory hole. So it's like double bonus all the see?
See, it lightens you up immediately.
Exactly. It doesn't feel as heavy. Or after we do like that therapy portion, then you get to go and, set stuff on fire and break stuff and, just play around with 3,000 degree glass. So it's a nice contrast.
Oh, good for anger issues. I love that.
Yeah, for sure.
So
well,
Jessica, feel free to just tell us more about your background too, because I know that I'm not doing justice with what I just said, but would love to kind of just learn more about your background.
So the way I sort of, I guess, fell into this profession was originally I was going to be a lawyer. After deployment,
Really?
I saw a whole bunch of service members who were really kind of getting the shaft when it came to like divorce and their relationships. And so I was like, I'm going to be a lawyer, and I'm going to help these guys and gals be able to spend time with their kids, not be treated as an ATM, all of this stuff, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm midway through my criminal justice degree. And I take a psychology class with a retired master chief. And I took the psychology class because I felt like I needed to understand like my audience, my clientele, all of that. And I thought it would be helpful. She had 9 kids, which God bless her. Yeah, 9 kids. I don't even know.
How do you even do that?
And not me. She talked about how she had lost her husband, who was also a service member, to a suicide completion. And then the place that she was working, which was a grief counseling place. And that was it for me. I changed my major and I spent an extra 6 months. So instead of it taking, well, I guess it's supposed to take 4 years, it took me 2.5 years to get my bachelor's. And I was in a master's program 3 months later. Once I finished that, it took me a little while to finish my licensing. That's a whole convoluted, complex process. And I didn't need a doctorate, but I decided to do it because I felt like it would give a deeper level of meaning to what I was doing. It could potentially get the attention of the people that are running the programs that are out there now. Sometimes, having a title in front of your name opens doors that just, Masters of Science or LPC or LMFT doesn't. So, here I am. And I'm no different than any other veteran. I've worked through my own trauma, my own self-worth. Part of the program that I teach, like, you have to go through that program to even be able to teach it, able to administer it, any of those things. So and I've been through so many different trainings. I've kind of checked boxes along the way for some of them because I've been like, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I already know that. Yeah, this one made me cry. So I knew that this one was way different. So the curriculum was written by a social worker in Oklahoma, and she used a different kind of art, but I needed something else that worked with my veterans. And then there are certain tools that I have them do to really start to crack open that glass ceiling, if you will, before they even start this curriculum. So, I approach it way differently.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And it sounds like you've done a lot of inner work and external work, figuring out what would potentially work for you, and also for other people. But I acknowledge you for going all the way to a doctorate degree in psychology. That is not easy. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, Bachelor of Arts, and I got to tell you, even when I was going through the bachelor's program, every single personality disorder in the DSM-4, I was like, I have that one, I have that one. I was diagnosing myself. So I was just like, man, I am broken. I cannot be fixed. But I was like, man, anybody that goes all the way through a master's and doctorate degree in psychology, man, you got to turn yourself inside out to study psychology. Seriously.
You do.
Yeah. So congratulations on that. And I do agree that it's either experience or formal education that's going to open doors. If you don't have a lot of experience, you've got to go and get the credentials to open those doors. But, Jessica, going back to you, you were an Army veteran. Now you're a Navy wife, correct?
I am.
Yes, Navy wife, right? So now tell us more about your transition story and what you learned about yourself. You've kind of already given us a high level insight, but from a personal development standpoint, what did you learn about yourself and your transition?
Well, first of all, like, I learned that trauma attracts other trauma. That's how I met my ex-husband, who was in the Army, and we served together. And so, normally I wouldn't say the Navy is an upgrade, but my husband certainly is. So I'm going to have to give like the Navy some shout out there that he's an upgrade.
Come on, solid. I like it.
We talk the foundation of our relationship is literally on talking shit to one another. Our marriage vows included that I agree to annoy you for the rest of my life. Yes. And we mean it every single day.
That's fun.
So transition from the Army, from learning all of the different acronyms in the Navy side has been different. And I'm my husband's unit ombudsman. So I'm a huge advocate for mental health on that side over there too. And I try and get out there as much as I can and talk with them about mental health and how to treat each other instead of just giving it lip service. There's a new command, so I haven't had a chance to meet with them yet. So we'll see how that goes. But I really would like to, be able to start to do some of these things with them, because I think it starts absolutely at a unit level. And I think that we're missing out on giving these guys and gals tools early in their career to help them be successful long term. And that's all across the board. Doesn't matter your rank, background, whatever. Everybody's got something they need to improve on. And I don't like to think of it as broken. We are different levels of unhealthy. Where you are depends on how much work you've done or not done. None of us are broken.
Yeah. And I appreciate you being honest. Like, identifying trauma and finding a spouse kind of dealing with the same stuff. I think that comes time and time again with people that kind of just, sequenize against, with each other and meet each other, and they kind of grow together in the trenches of life. So that's a solid story. And I love the wedding vows of talking shit to each other. I mean, that has to make every day fun whenever it's just the heaviest day too, right? So that has to be fun to have that partner. So the company that got accepted inside the Veteran in Residence program, is that this Hearts and Minds Counseling?
It is.
Nice. So tell us why you started that.
Well, I had been working in nonprofit for a long time, and some of the things there were changing. Leadership was changing. Their mission was changing. And it really wasn't in line with my values and the way I saw where I wanted to be. And so I had to take a page out of my own book and do the same things that I tell my clients all the time. And if you don't like something, you got to go out there and change it. What was interesting for me is I don't necessarily come from the most supportive family background. And so when I went and talked to my family of origin a little bit about going out and taking this risk, their first response was, "What if you fail?" And, when you're already taking a risk, that's definitely not the feedback that you're wanting. But like I said, I'm really lucky to have an amazing husband. And I talked to him next, and he was like, "Okay, so what?" He's like, "Failure's a part of life. Besides," he goes, "anybody who's ever met you has to know that you don't know how to fail." I said, "Sure I do. I do it all the time." And he was like, "Yeah, but you do it in such a way that people don't even know that you're failing. Only you know that." So, I mean,
that's a good compliment for sure.
Yeah. He's definitely my biggest cheerleader. That man would move heaven and earth for me. So like when I say he's the upgrade, I mean that in my heart and soul. He really is. He really gives me the space to be able to do what I do and encourages me along the way. He's been my guinea pig in all of the things that I've done. He's actually working on a curriculum so that way I can have, because glass blowing isn't available everywhere. So I want to have like woodworking, and I want to have, oh no, I can't think of the medium. There's another medium that I'm playing with. I just
maybe painting or something. Maybe painting.
No, I can't get a Marine to paint. No, sir.
With crayons, maybe.
Okay, facts.
Maybe draw. We can't paint. But I get what you mean, right? Woodworking, some kind of coping mechanism, and bringing that dark sense of humor that we need to kind of just the glory hole, the Chuck Norris jokes, and just all that shit that just helps us kind of just be like, oh God, just for that second. I just felt understood, right? Because sometimes that's what matters. That's what matters. So what do you think you need right now the most from an ambitious vet that's listening to this episode right now, or this feature? What does Hearts and Minds Counseling need the most right now?
Ooh.
How can we support?
My biggest struggle right now that I have is just that I don't have enough hours in the day, right? And so I need at some point to find other like-minded clinicians. And I don't know how many other veterans are in this space as far as mental health goes. If there are other veterans out there in this space, I would love to be able to work with them or teach them the things that I do, because I don't want it to be something that's just mine. I didn't make it just for me. I made it for everybody. I know what the problem is, and I have a solution. And now I've got to, at some point, get it out there. And so I'm hoping after I finish this dissertation, that will give me another avenue, another forum to be able to do that as well. But I really think that there is something so intangible about veterans, especially in the mental health space, because nobody understands a veteran better than another veteran. I hired an assistant just to be able to take the amount of calls that I get for help, because everybody's hurting right now. And there just is not enough hours in the day. And so at some point I need my own army in order to be able to get this out to where it's touching everybody. And that's my long-term goal. Is I want to change the way we approach mental health. I want to change how we treat it. And I want to stop giving it lip service and actually do something about it.
Yeah, no, I love that. You said that a couple times, and I love the idea of like changing the dynamics of mental health, because that's one thing inside of our core purpose inside this movement with the Ambitious Fit Network is how do we move from this disease-based psychology? If something's wrong with you, pick your personality disorder, to like, hey, yeah, you might be a little fucked up, accept it, right? With PTSD, whatever, maybe, right? But like, what is your strengths and how to build off that? The broad and build theories of the world, right? Of psychology world, all that good stuff, right? So I love that you are hitting on that. And how do we fill those gaps in our strengths to help us win and reach our full potential post-military? And it sounds like what you need from the Ambitious Veteran Network is, potentially more veteran clinicians that are trying to make an impact in the mental health arena for veterans, maybe even veterans that want to participate with the program. It sounds like anybody that wants to have a breakthrough and self-worth, leveraging things like glassworking. It sounds like that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, for sure. And I partner with a studio here because I'm not a glass worker by trade. There's a studio here called Seneca Studios in Fort Worth, and they every year, I'm going to say this and I'm just totally screw myself for the year. Every year they do a free event on Veterans Day that allows any veteran to sign up to come and do any of their glass. They have 3 studios. So there's flame working, there's the hot shop, which is what most people know is like the glass blowing studio. And then there is the cold shop where you take glass that's already solid and you work with it and create something from that. My favorite is the hot shop. The flame working studio is also super cool. But it makes me a little nervous because it's like a 3,000 degree torch that's literally like right here in front of your hand. So there's an element of danger. So as a Marine, you might love that.
That sounds like a whole lot of rowdy dowdy fun right there.
My husband loves that one too. It makes my favorite things, which are galaxy marbles, but it makes me a little anxious. Like my high functioning anxiety I like a little distance between me and the glass. I just do. So every year for Veterans Day, they open it up for, they have a certain number of spots, and they also have a veteran program that you can do that if you just want to learn how to glass work. There is a veteran program that they have. Glass working is not inexpensive, so I'm just going to say that right now, but you can go through and learn all the different types of glass, and you can do all of those things with them. And my partner there, her name's Tatara. She goes by T. She's just this fabulous, down-to-earth lady. She's not a veteran. And what I love about her is when we started working together, one of her biggest fears was, I'm not a veteran. These guys and gals aren't going to like me. She is so real. You can't help but love her. She's just who she is. She's people's,
Love that. Love that. Yeah. So thanks for breaking that down for us. So where can an ambitious vet that's listening to this right now go learn more about Hearts and Minds Counseling?
So I have a website. Try not to judge it. It is, we are working on updating it a little bit. It's a reflection of my limited web building skills, and it is heartsandmindscounseling.com. It's not the and sign like most people would assume. It is actually the words hearts with an S at the end, the word and then minds with an S at the end, counseling.com. Hopefully it'll be revamped in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, at least you got something out there, right?
I do.
Come on. You got something out there that's a start, right?
Yeah.
And you got a curriculum that you're building out. You're finishing up, like you said, offline, a dissertation. This woman has a lot going on and trying to keep up with your husband's wit. Jokes every single day, which trust me, I got a witty wife and it's not always easy. So it's, it's always fun keeping up with all that. So Jessica, please share any last save rounds that you'd love to share with the veteran, just trying to improve in the everyday life today.
So I'll give you guys one of my favorite analogies. Well, I've got 2, actually. I got 2 favorite things that I like to say to my veterans all the time. So the way I sort of live my life is this, and this is where my struggle is, because as a veteran, I want to do all the things. So my favorite quote is a Mother Teresa quote, and it says, "I alone cannot change the world. However, I can cast a stone and create many ripples. And I like to think that each thing that I do, each person that I work with, each life that I touch, I'm creating ripples that I can't see the effects of.
Mm.
My second
Boom.
thing is, go ahead.
I said boom, but you got a second one. Let's bring it.
So my second thing is, y'all need to hang up those running shoes.
Hmm.
I'll explain. All of you have seen Forrest Gump, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
This felt like
So
running.
there is a scene in Forrest Gump where I can't remember if it's his mom's sick or if it's Jenny that's sick, but something's going on. And Forrest gets up and he starts running. Bro runs for 3 years.
Hmm.
Then one day he stops. Nobody knows why he's running. The movie never says why he's running, and I don't presume to know why, but I'm going to tell you what I see every day. Every single day, we get up and we put on those running shoes and we try and run. You can't outrun yourself. Every day you wake up and there you are. So stop running. You're not going to get anywhere. You're never going to outrun yourself. Stop running.
That's good stuff. So with that, Jessica, I just want to thank you for joining the Ambitious Vet Show.
Thank you.
What's going on, Ambitious Vet? We are right back inside the trenches, and we're doing another Bunker Labs 23A Veteran Residence Program sponsored episode interview. And before I get into the person we're going to be spotlighting in this one, in case you don't know what the Veteran Residence Program is, it's put on by Bunker Labs. And Bunker Labs is a great, I would say, entry-level entrepreneur incubator, figuring out if you even got what it takes to be an entrepreneur when you got a feasible business model that you have your first couple customers, whatever that business model is. And they have a variety of different other programs that kind of help scale your entrepreneurial journey based on where you're at. But this specific veteran residence program is for entrepreneurs that are kind of putting their feet into that other bucket of entrepreneurship, maybe having a full-time career and starting a business on the side, or just now getting full-time inside of their small business. And this program, Veteran Residence, is sponsored by WeWork, USAA, and Pilot Flying J. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and introduce today's spotlight. Today's spotlight is Kimlin Coleman. Kimlin is the founder and CEO of Casey's Job Search Coaching, LLC. She is a U.S. Army veteran, has a Master of Business Administration degree, and is certified as a career coach and professional resume writer. I have the honor and privilege to be in the same cohort here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area with Kimlin. I just got to tell you, I was talking offline with her, and just where her heart is with her services just speaks to, the acts of service of what veterans that want to serve post-military, just kind of that natural self-expression that we all want to do post-military. And we just try to figure out, how can we serve? How do we help other people win? How do we pull people up that were where we were 5 years ago, or whatever that amount of years were in the past? So Kimlin, I just want to welcome you to the show, and feel free to tell us more about your background.
Great. Thank you, Chris. And thank you for this opportunity today. I'm so happy to be here. I've been hearing your voice on our meetings and getting that advice that you're always giving us. And it's amazing. So thank you again for this opportunity. You told them that I was a U.S. Army veteran. That's how I got started right after high school. I went to college. I was sharing with you that I went to school for about 2 weeks, and then I was called out for Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. And I served in Fort Hood, Texas, in Killeen for a while. And as soon as I got back, I went right back to college. And I actually got my bachelor's degree within 3.5 years. So I didn't really miss out on those few months that I was gone to Killeen, because it normally takes 4 years to graduate. So it didn't stop me, thank goodness. And I started out in the National Guard, and then I went to the reserves after Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm, like I said, because it was closer to my college. So it was just more convenient for me. I'm one of those who had to work full time in order to pay to go to college, because my parents weren't wealthy, so they couldn't pay for it for me. And I didn't want to be drenched in student loans. So I worked at Walmart for all of those years that I was in college, full time. I waited 10 years. I went back to college and got my MBA from the University of Phoenix. A couple of years after that, I got a graduate human resource manager certification, also from the University of Phoenix. I worked in both the public and the private sector. I started out in insurance, ended up working for the federal government for the U.S. District Court. Left the U.S. District Court and then started working for the state of Texas. Um, so now I am at Roots Food Group as a director of project management full time. And then I have my business part time, Casey's Job Search Coaching LLC. I say part time, but most of the times it actually feels like two full time jobs because there's so much into running a business as well. So that's me in a nutshell. Other than I am married 26 years, I'm happy to say that because I have a lot of friends who are divorced, and I have 3 kids, 2 grandkids, no, 3 grandkids now, and a son-in-law. So my family has grown tremendously over the years during the 26 years that my husband and I have been married.
Come on, come on. I love it. And what I was telling her on the back end, Ambitious Vet, is this mama hasn't been slowed down. Like she said, she she always came back to go get what she said she would do to herself, meaning getting certifications, getting her master's degree. And I'm a fan of the accelerated degree path as well. I got my bachelor's in psychology in National University. So you can't hate on the school that you get your education from. It's what you do with the education that actually has you end up where Kimlin has ended up, a thriving family, a 26-year plus marriage, and a director role inside of a company that gives her a lot of purpose. So, Kimlin, back over to you. What did you learn about yourself throughout your military transition, personal development wise?
I want to say too, this is funny story. I joined the military because my family was military, and I have 2 older brothers, and they were like, "You will not make it through basic training." And I was like, "Okay, well, if you say I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna go ahead and join. I'm gonna show you." And actually, when I got out of the military, I was higher ranking than both my brothers. So I did show them. But what I learned in the military, I learned how to be organized. I also learned how to work as a team. When you're in basic training and those things, you don't get in trouble by yourself, you get in trouble as a team. And I think I've taken that and I utilize that at work. If my team is having issues, I'm right there with them trying to find solutions and not really focus on what the problem is. Also, I hate to be late, and I know that's due to me being in the military. I have to be everywhere that I go on time. And if I'm not, I am really frustrated. And I tell my kids all the time, don't go anywhere in a hurry. Give yourself some time. We know we live in Dallas, Texas, so you may get in traffic, but it's best to get somewhere early than it is to get somewhere late. And I can pack a suitcase like nobody's business. My kids are always like, "How did you get so much stuff in that suitcase?" And I use those little techniques they taught us way back in basic training where we roll our t-shirts and all of that stuff to put them in the drawer and put as much stuff in there as we possibly can. So also, I think from the military, I've learned to use my available resources. Whatever is there to help me accomplish whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish, I use that. Sometimes it may be unorthodox, but I've learned that sometimes you're not going to have everything that you need. So you just got to make the best use of what's there.
Come on.
So
I
those are
love
the
that.
types of things that I feel like I've learned through my military. And it's helped me, I would say, both personally and professionally.
No, I appreciate you sharing that. And that's like a consistent message that we hear is doing a lot with a little. And
Yes.
just, when you got not so much to carry in like a suitcase because you mastered the combat role, you know what I
Yes.
mean? It's like lighter weight, lighter baggage to get to your next destination. And, it's you don't want
Right.
all that baggage, right? So appreciate you sharing that. So the company that actually got accepted in the veteran and residence program is, Casey's Job Search Coaching LLC, correct?
Yes.
So tell us more about this company and the why behind it.
Well, the why behind the company is because I was laid off. And when I was laid off, it took me what I thought was a while to get back into the workforce, into a professional position. And I believe it's because I did not know how to navigate through the job search techniques that we have now. And I don't want anybody else to have to go through that if they don't have to. So I've gotten a certification in professional resume writing. I've also worked with some contract companies who've learned how to master the technique of resume writing and learn from them. I went to a class called 5-Star Resume Writing, and I can say that I always get 5 stars whenever someone does give me a recommendation. So it's just being able to help others not have to go through what I went through when I was searching. I've learned everything that you need to do to get through the applicant tracking system that most of the applications send people through. Um, and I was telling you, sometimes I probably shouldn't be saying this out loud, but I do whatever I can to help my clients be able to afford my services, because I don't want anybody to go without being able to have those professional services that they sometimes need when they get stuck in the trenches of trying to find another job. So that's the reason behind Casey's Job Search Coaching LLC, is just to help those new college graduates that don't know anything about job search because they've just been trying to get their education, and then also helping my fellow veterans when they're transitioning from the military to the civilian world, build a resume that showcases those skills and talents that they learned while they were in the military that can easily transition into a civilian career. So that's the story behind Casey's Job Search Coaching and why it is that we exist.
Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate you breaking that down. And I know we were talking offline here, but it's so overwhelming to
Yeah.
kind of do the initial job search. For one, we don't even know who the hell we are.
Yeah.
Speaking on college kids too, getting out, they don't know who the hell they are. They got this degree. They don't even know they're going to get a job in it. And then when you're in the military, you got this MOS and you don't even know if you're going to get a job in that. Right. So
Right,
it's just like,
right.
how do you navigate the waters of that? And what I'm hearing is you provide, skills translation into a piece of paper, because you hear this idea of, looking good on and off paper. And a lot of military veterans in this case don't know how to look good on paper. They just want to get
Right.
shit done. They want to
Right.
execute, you know what I mean? So
Exactly. I know exactly what you
talk
mean.
more. Yeah. Right. So just talk more about your services and how you kind of guide a transitioning veteran or someone maybe just seeking career advancement. Maybe they got their first job, but they're looking for career advancement. How do you navigate a veteran through that process?
The first thing I do is I take a look at the resume that they have. And if it's just not giving me what I need to be able to build their brand, because that's what we're doing, is building our brand, then I have a questionnaire that I have them to fill out. And that questionnaire helps them to figure out themselves who they are, because I ask some pretty challenging questions on that questionnaire to make them think. And I've had some people to come back and say, man, once I saw you write all of that up, I didn't realize myself how valuable that I was. And from that, I also create their cover letters, reference pages. I'm all about everything looking the same. I'm matchy. My kids say.
I
So I
love it.
make sure that their resume, their cover letter, their reference page, everything matches. If someone is having difficulties with some of the online job applications, I help them to fill out those. We usually do a Zoom call or Google Meet or something of that nature. I let them share a screen, and then I walk them through the process. And I go all the way as far as to helping them with the interview. So whenever they do get an interview, they contact me, let me know when it is, and we usually do like a mock interview the day before so that I can help them with some of those challenging questions, like tell me about yourself, some people would think that would be easy to answer, but then when they ask you that question in an interview, it's like you draw a blank. So I help them learn what their elevator pitch is so that they're ready to answer that question. And then I also, because LinkedIn is so big now, is the best social media platform that there is as far as job searches is concerned. I help them to build a profile for LinkedIn that's optimized to where they will get seen by recruiters and hiring managers who are looking for people with the type of professional skills that they have.
I'm just so fascinated by this topic. Man, I could talk to you. I could talk to you for another 20 minutes because it's such a big need in the military transition space. And even for veterans that are like underemployed, how do they identify the next tier of like getting paid and feeling fulfilled in their career like you've gotten to, right? So what I'm hearing is you're helping them with their personal brand, like that personal identity, which is so important. And then from there, it's like, how do you translate that into paper documents, like a resume, cover letter, and stuff that adapts to these ATS systems that you have to apply to, which is a whole nother challenge, right? It's another jungle, like we were talking about. And then also building out platforms, leveraging the platforms out there, which is so key. So, and one other thing I just wanted to bring up, Ambitious Vet, is, when someone's asking you, tell us more about yourself. Also, they're not just wanting to know more about you. They want you to share. They want you to share from the job description. They want to hear you saying like who I am from a place of aligning your skills and your experience around with the job description. I think so many people are not intentional with that, me included, throughout my career experience of finding jobs and consulting gigs and just stuff like that. Is how the hell do you communicate from who am I from the actual job description?
Exactly. And that's exactly what I teach. So
I
it
love
seems
it.
like you've been through one of my interview coaching sessions.
Oh man, I've learned through trial and error and failure. I wish I would have hired someone like you ahead of time. Man, yeah, it's kind of one of those
And you
things.
asked me about people that are transitioning from in their careers. I've just learned, and I usually tell people, don't be afraid to ask. There's going to be a yes or a no, and just be willing to accept whatever that is. And if it is a no, if you're asking to be promoted or get a raise or something of that nature that you know that you deserve, go in knowing what it is that you have accomplished. I do have a journal that I created for people to keep up with their accomplishments throughout the year so that you don't get a performance evaluation that really doesn't say anything about who you are and what it is that you have offered to your organization over the year. And if they say no, ask them why. If your manager knows that you've been doing all of these things and contributing so much to the organization and they don't want to promote you, they should have a reason why. And that way you can work on those areas where they say you need to strengthen. So that's how I, tackle that. Even though I don't personally do career coaching anymore, that is the advice that I give to those who are trying to excel in their career.
No, I love it. It's all about proactiveness versus being reactive, right? How do you get ahead of all this stuff? And it sounds like you do a great job in doing that. So, Kimlin, last question we have for you. Well, actually, two-part. One is, what do you need? What's your biggest need right now inside your company that an ambitious vet that's listening to this right now would just be like, hey, look, I'm on it. I'm rocking and rolling. Here's the connection. Here's the resource or whatever, right? And then second part, where can the ambitious vet that's listening to this go to figure out more about you and your services?
Okay. You know what? With all new small businesses, I think funding is my biggest need. I haven't mastered the funding aspect of things just yet. I would like to do more workshops and things like that, and it costs money to be able to have the resources that you need and to book the spaces that you need to do them in and things like that. I would like to offer those workshops for free, but I need funding to be able to do that. And as far as where you can find me at, I have a Facebook business page, LinkedIn business page. Both are under Casey's Job Search Coaching LLC. And I also have a YouTube channel that I've only put an introductory video on there thus far, but I'm going to do better, I promise. And I am getting ready to launch my own podcast. I'm working with a musician that has created my own little musical theme song for me.
Come on.
It's
Love it.
and it's going to be called Casey's Job Search Tip of the Week.
Ooh.
And it will be like 3 to 5 minute sessions to just help people to keep it pushing in their job search until they get what it is that they want and desire. So that should be coming in March. We're meeting Sunday to try to go over some of the other things that I need to get that off the ground. So
yeah, no, I love it. Congratulations on all the new developments. And Ambitious Vet, any sense of funding to help her get this process sped up, so maybe she can hire 1099s and support and team around this stuff. You hear her heart, you hear like the wisdom behind what she says, but you don't always hear that from people, right? Some people are just talking and they don't have weight to it. She has experience. She's been there, done that. And she's doing some great work in the trenches of everyday life. If you have funding sources like grants, if you are an investor or whatever that may look like for you, you have resources, please reach out to Kimlin. Start with LinkedIn. I'll also have her email in the show notes below. Kimlin, any other saved rounds for the Ambitious Vet community?
Just keep it pushing. We learn a lot in the military. And when you can get with a great veteran like Chris and the other people in our cohort, listen, because they have some really good things to say and it will be helpful. So thank you again, Chris, for this opportunity. This was great talking to you.
Yeah, absolute honor. And sometimes we have some good things to say. It depends on the day and what we're dealing with. But Kimlin, it's an honor to know you. I'm excited to finish out the rest of this cohort. And the respect's right back over to you, girlfriend.
All right. Thank you.
The Ambitious Vet is available on all popular podcast platforms. Go to vettrainingcoaching.com to subscribe, rate, and share with fellow vets.